What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius Type 0 banner review. And we're going over this banner. It's got Cater, Deuce, Kurasame and Machina on it. So let's start off with the 3-star base, 5-star max. Cater, not a whole lot to talk about. Her TMR is Heroism, 20% attack magic, that's about it. She's a 5-star max. She needs some sort of super crazy support, but she's like a weird damage dealer. She's got this weird thing where she's a Hawkeye, so you're not going to be using her as a unit. She doesn't do anything exceptionally well in comparison to a lot of the other units in the game. Now, Deuce over here, it's a 4-star base, 6-star max, and she's like a bard buffer. Still isn't that good, but her TMR here is kindness, increase your magic by 40%, increase your fire resistance by 50%. So if you need that magic, that's great. If you need that fire resistance for some damage dealer to live, or maybe put this on your AoE magic cover tank, that could be utilized in that way as well. Now, as far as the unit though, her kit's kind of whatever. She's like a bad version of like enhanced Ramza, basically, or Roy or whatever. So the only kind of buff she can buff with on turn 1 is an attack and magic, 90% buff. Her other songs are like some HP MP regen on turn 1, and then she has like some damage over time with fixed attack damage. It's not the greatest. And then after that, you can start buffing up defense and spirit, but she has no way to buff defense and spirit and attack and magic at the same time. So if you want a 4-star buffer, forget about Deuce here and just use like Soleil. Just use Soleil still if you want a 4-star buffer for 10 minutes or something like that. Just use Soleil. She's not a bard, isn't locked to stuff all the time. Deuce, not the greatest. Now, moving on to the 5-star bases, we have Machina here. His TMR is Opposition. It's pretty strong. You auto-cast Opposition at the start of the battle. So Opposition itself is a buff that you'll get. Turn 1, you'll get 150% attack, defense, magic, and spirit. Turn 2, you'll get a 125% attack, defense, magic, and spirit. And then turn 3, you'll get 100% attack, defense, magic, and spirit. Pretty cool buff there. You get at the start of the fight a little bit of extra damage. And then itself is a 35% attack increase passively when equipped with a sword, and then 15% attack and 10% HP when equipped with clothes. So if you have sword clothes on, it's 50% attack, 10% HP, and then you get that cool little stacking buff at the start of the fight. Where you get 150 for turn 1, then 125, then 100. So pretty decent, but if you have some sort of a bard, I mean, this is all right. Like, we have bards right now that can do this on turn 1. Now, everyone has them, obviously, but even if you have a bard that does 100%, okay, you get one turn of plus 50% more than one turn of plus 25. So it's kind of, it's good, but it's not like game breaking. Then his STMR is Excalibur. We talked about this before. It's 163 attack sword with dual wield, so it's kind of like the Sasuke's katana, but for swords instead. Not holy elements, non-elemental. So as far as an STMR goes, it's good, but like don't feel like compelled to go and get it. Now as a unit, Machina's pretty good. They have a little bit of a cool thing where he's got some supporting aspects to his kit. So the standout skills for him here are Stunning Slash and Siphon Sword. So Siphon Sword does a little bit of HP and MP drain, and then it does a 70% defense and spirit break for 1 turn, a 55% defense and spirit break for 3 turns, and a 45% defense and spirit break for 5 turns. Now, don't be fooled. This is the first time we'll see a skill like this. They don't stack. It's not like a 70% plus a 55 plus a 45. In FFBE, as you guys know, the highest debuff or buff is what takes precedence. So you'll get all 3 of these breaks on them with 1 skill. But since 70% is the highest, you'll have a 70% break for 1 turn, and then that'll wear off the turn after that, and you'll be stuck with a 55, and then that'll wear off eventually. You'll go to a 45. And then they have a Stunning Slash as well, which is attack and magic, 70, 55, and 45. So if you don't have a breaker, he can do these skills as a 5-star. 70% is pretty strong. The problem with him is that he can't do 70% defense, spirit, magic, and attack all at the same time. Even if you're using nothing but breaks, you'll have a 70% for like defense, spirit, and then next turn you do the attack magic 70%, but the defense spirit, you know, wears off and goes to 55. So you can do some decent breaks, but you'd have to be doing nothing but break with him to keep like the 70% breaks up, which are awesome. So he's like a side breaker, but his main role isn't breaking. Now he's got Guardian Blades and Enforced Magic Barrier, which are pretty strong. Guardian Blades is 20% physical mitigation for 3 turns to all allies, with a little bit of counter attack for your team there. And then Enforced Magic Barrier is 20% magic mitigation. All right, with Spirit Break resistance up by 100% for 3 turns. So a little bit of extra mitigation for your team there. He's got some nice supporting aspects to him. And then he's got Element Eager, physical damage, 5.2 times multiplier to 1 enemy, and then does an Imperil for fire, ice, and lightning by 60%. And then it's the Chaining Family is the absolute mirror of equity, which is going to be at one point the 2nd most common chaining family in the game. So 8-hit, absolute mirror equity chaining family. It's some nice imperils there for you to use. He's got Summon Eidolon because he's a type 0 unit, and then he's got Awakening, 7-turn cooldown available on turn 1. Restore all your HP, give yourself a 200% attack bonus, decrease your defense by 30% for 5 turns, it's kind of whatever, and then enable Rush Blade for 5 turns. Now Rush Blade is going to be his biggest damage dealing skill. For passives, he has Dual Wield, some nice stat buffs. He's got Evil Magic, pretty cool, attack plus 50%, limit burst gauge fill rate by 100%, which is actually really good for him. Crystal's Chosen One, Crystal's Chosen One at the start of the battle with 1 limit burst gauge per turn. Some more passive buffs here. And then at level 120 gets Twin Bolt Rapers, 5% MP recovery. Increase the modifier of Dark Side, Element Eager, Siphon Sword, and Stunning Slash by 1.5. So it's going to take Siphon Sword up to like a 6.7 multiplier instead of a 5.2. And then increase the modifier of Rush Blade by 0.75, and you get 40% of your equipment's attack when dual wielding, so 40% true dual wield. So, the Rush Blade is a physical damage 5.0 multiplier with a north 50% defense, and that is a 10.0 multiplier basically. Now, don't forget you get the 0.75 multiplier increase from Twin Bolt Rapers at level 120. That's going to be a 1.5 on top of that, so it's going to be 11.5 multiplier. You don't have access to this skill all the time, but you do get access to it for 5 turns, so he could be pretty good. At the end of the day though, Machina, Limit Burst is pretty strong as well. 79% attack and magic break for 3 turns. So this is where you really get that attack and magic break. You can make like a support Machina build if you want, where you do like an attack magic break or defense spirit break, and you Cyclone Drive, and then you just defense spirit break over and over and over for your team. It's not the most effective thing because you have to do it every single turn. You need to like spam your defense spirit break 70%, and then LB, and then it's really difficult. So he can help you. I see him most useful in like 10-man trials. If you don't have like a super strong breaker, you're still doing 10-mans. Just grab like a 5-star Machina, go in there, and like when you're ready to kill the boss, right? 70% defense spirit break, and then chain with your chainers and defeat the boss. If you don't have 70% breaks, you need to experience one because they're really strong. Now, Kurasame is the other 5-star base on the banner, and he's really good. He's absolutely insane. Probably one of the best damage dealers in the game right now. Him and TDH Hyoh are probably up there together. His TMR is the Ice Blade Hill. It's okay. It's 50 MP, 40 attack, 40 magic, and 50% ice resistance. So as far as a TMR goes, it's kind of fine. It's like a Celestial Glove with more attack and magic and less defense and spirit on it. With some ice resistance, the ice resistance will help your magic cover tanks with ice bosses and moves like that. So that's pretty good there too. Don't forget about that. His STMR is the Ice Blade Himuro, 130 attack, 162 magic, and its ice element. It's a one-handed sword, okay, guys? It's not a two-handed sword. It's a one-handed sword. So Kurasame is really interesting. He's a hybrid damage dealer. Everyone was like, hey, what's Previous 7-star going to look like? Previous 7-star is more than likely going to look like this unit. So let's dive into it for you guys here. His equipment selection: daggers, swords, great swords, katanas, and rods. So he's got everything that you want. So if you want to go a high attack double hand build, you use like a great sword or a katana, two-handed version of one of those, or maybe, you know, in the future, two-handed sword. If you want to go for the magic build because the enemy is really weak to magic damage, you can go ahead and put that rod on there and do work that way. He's got robes, he's got light armor, he's got clothing, he's got hats. He's ready to go. Now, his skills here, the important ones are going to be the Zekken skills for his non-cooldown skills. So Zekken, Freezing Showers, and Cloudless Rain, they are pretty weak, 7 times multipliers, hybrid multipliers, okay? And they're AoE, and they have status elements on them. So we've got Sleep and Petrify for one of them, Confuse and Disease for the other one. Not that big of a deal. Definitive Commands, fine. You probably won't use this that much. It's 110% attack and magic buff for 3 turns to all allies. And then if you're going to use this, it's for the 70% ice resistance buff for all allies. So if you're going against like Shiva or some ice boss, you can Definitive Command and make your whole team probably immune to most of what that boss does. Now, Instant Hell Freeze is one of the skills that you don't want to have to use on him, but if you don't have a replacement in peril, you're going to have to use it on him. So what it is it's very similar to Machina's Breaks. Instant Hell Freeze, it's not a Zekken skill, so you can't double, triple cast this. It is 100% in peril for 1 turn to 1 enemy, and then it falls down to a 75% in peril for 2 turns, so the turn after that, and then a 50% in peril the turn after that. Now, it does unlock Zekken Twilight Rain, which is pretty cool. But ideally, you're going to want to have an external imperil for your Kurasame and just set up and just blow someone away like turns 1, 2, 3, 4, and not even have to worry about instant hell freeze. So if you have a, you know, an Ignis or something rolling around, or maybe we get a, you know, Santa Rosalia, the JP one, the 5-star, call it like Holiday Rosalia or something. Holiday Rosalia has like 100% Ice Holy Imperil as a cooldown skill. Put that bad boy in there. Now we have Zekken Sudden Downpour. This is going to be your go-to skill when you're just doing damage with no unlocked skills. Hybrid damage, 12.6 times multiplier to one enemy. So this looks very familiar, very similar to Frostflower Blitz. It doesn't have an element associated with it innately, so you're going to need to either imbue yourself or wear an ice weapon, right, if you're going to go for Ice Imperils. It is the quick hit chaining family. So if you are having like problems chaining the quick hit family, like Tidus and stuff, maybe not the unit for you, but if you can chain those families fine, then no drawback here. Dual cast can dual cast magic, and he's got double Zekken, which makes the Zekken skills important. He's just dual cast Zekken skills as a 6-star skill. So even as a 6-star unit, if you only get one of them, he does a lot of damage. I only have one right now. I daily pulled one and put him up for the event, and I think he's running around with like 1700 attack and like 500 magic or something before buffs, and he's just going in. He's just doing revolving saw, just doing it up. So summon Eidolon though, 4-turn cooldown. Okay, go ahead and summon your Eidolon. Pretty cool. Ice Magical Unleash. So these are some 7-star skills. 10-turn cooldown available on turn 1, and this is what makes him baller. Okay, so 200% attack and magic bonus for 5 turns to the caster. Increase your ice resistance by 100% for 5 turns, whatever. Imbue ice, all right, for physical attacks for 5 turns, and then enable skills for 4 turns to the caster. Triple Zekken, so triple cast Zekken skills, and Zekken Twilight Rain. When you see Zekken Twilight Rain, you just might turn the video off and just go pull for the unit. But hey, be strong, my friends. Now we have Diamond Rain, which isn't a Zekken skill, so you can't triple cast this, but it's a 6-turn cooldown available on turn 6. It's a nice way to end a fight. Ice hybrid damage, 54 times multiplier to all enemies. And it kind of goes well with his rotation, which we'll touch later on. Like, you'll be like, oh, 6 turn, what am I going to do for 6 turns? You'll be doing a lot of damage for 6 turns. Diamond Storm is probably bad, not because you can only use it on turn 6. Diamond Storm is bad because I don't know if the boss is going to be alive by turn 6 with Kurasame. So, traits in here. Former champion is 50%, no, 30% attack and magic buff with a 5% MP refresh. That's helpful. Flames of Life, 20% HP with a nice 150% attack magic buff. HP drops below 25%. Probably won't activate that much. And even if it does, you're going to have better buffs anyway. Class 0 Commanding Officer. Some MP passively, and then Sleep, Paralyze, and Confusions. You're resistant to that by 100%. Rubrum's Trump card, 50% attack and 50% magic with another 30% ice resistance. So that's going to be a total of 80% attack and magic already. And then the Tomberry support, which I'm going to touch on because this shit is hilarious in the arena. I had it proc for me today because I have, Kurasame running around the arena. Chance to counter physical attacks 20% with Thrust of Death. All right, max of 2 procs for the physical attack per turn. Chance to counter magic attacks with Thrust of Death, max 2 per turn. So I was just hanging out in the arena, and then all of a sudden I just saw Kurasame, death, 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 death. Just like killed like 4 dudes. Just in the arena. I made him like dodge and stuff, and just high HP, and just like death, death. It's hilarious. So, and a little Tomberry just pop out, and pop. That's his one animation. So you can't go wrong with Kurasame. Now, as far as that goes in an actual fight, a non-arena fight, it's whatever. In the arena, though, it's hilarious. Now we have the Ice Reaper, which is very interesting. Maybe I'll make a video on whether or not you should try to use Ice Reaper. So it's his trust ability, which means you have to have his TMR equipped. All right. Increases your MP by 20%, increases your ice resistance by 50%. Neither of those are kind of whatever. It upgrades your limit burst, which is super important. Then it auto-casts the Ice Reaper at the start of the battle, which we're about to get to. All right, so keep that in mind. It doesn't give you any sort of attack, doesn't give you any sort of magic, doesn't give you sort of double hand or anything like that. But it does upgrade your limit burst, and it does give you auto-cast the Ice Reaper. And it's good defense plus 20% passive, that's whatever. And then his level 120 skill is the Intimidating Stance. Attack and magic by 20%, so that's going to give you 100% attack and magic passively. And then 50% true double hand attack and 50% true double hand magic. So very, very similar to like our enhanced Ferrivia. Now, what are these unlocked skills? So the Ice Reaper enables a skill for 1 turn. It enables you as the battle starts or when you're raised, triple Zekken in Zekken Twilight Rain. All right. So turn 1, you'll be able to triple cast Twilight Rain. What does Twilight Rain do? Twilight Rain is just like Twilight Downpour or Zekken Downpour. It's a 24 times multiplier hybrid damage attack, non-elemental. So you can use elemental weapon of your choice with the Imperil of your choice, or you can use your Imbue with ice, or you put like a lightning weapon on against a lightning weak boss. You can do whatever you want. It's super awesome. And it's the quick hit chaining family still. So yeah, you can triple cast this on turn 1 with Ice Reaper. So that's going to be 72 times multiplier. with one Kurasame. Okay, and remember, this is also the skill that's unlocked from his cooldown skill. That's unlocked for 4 turns. This is why Kurasame can do a bunch of damage. You can triple cast this. It's very expensive, 54 MP, so you're going to be spending 162 MP or something like that per turn. But, you know, if you can support him, he's going to be doing a bunch of damage, guys. Now, he's got Blizzaga and stuff like that. He's got Bar Blizzaga, too. That's fine. Now, his limit burst here, absolute 0. It is very important, if you're going in for, like, a long fight, to enhance this limit burst. So, natively, the limit burst is, if max level, 100% Ice and Peril for 2 turns, 30 times multiplier ice damage to all enemies, and then increase your attack and magic by 250% for 3 turns to the caster. The upgraded version is the same thing, except it unlocks triple Zekken in Zekken Twilight Rain for 2 turns. Okay, so if you have his TMR on, why is this like the thing that you need to decide if you want to do or not? Well, if you have his TMR on, his TMR is an accessory, and that's 1 less martial glove you can equip. And usually his best build is actually just true double hand attack if the enemies have equal defense and spirit, or less defense than spirit, obviously. This allows you to go for a long time. It allows you to triple cast turn 1 with Twilight Rain, assuming you have like a friend, Kurasame, who also has his TMR on. And then if the fight goes on longer, you can absolute 0 into triple cast Twilight Rain again. Because if you don't have his TMR on, you have the unupgraded limit burst. So the only way you can unlock Twilight Rain in triple Zekken is with his cooldown skill, which might not be the biggest deal ever. But you can end fights with him pretty quick, pretty fast, especially if his TMR on, right? You can load into the fight, triple cast Zekken Twilight Rain 3 times, get an external Imperil, right? Use like Ignis or something to Imperil 75% ice or whatever. And then triple cast Twilight Rain turn 1. Turn 2, you'll Ice Magic Unleashed. Turn 3, you'll triple cast Twilight Rain. Turn 4, you'll triple cast Twilight Rain. Turn 5, you'll triple cast Twilight Rain. And then on 6, you'll Diamond Storm. So that's the ultimate just burn. The only time you're not doing damage with a rotation like that is on turn 2 when you're using Ice Magic Unleashed. So turn 1, you get some nice damage off, and then you Ice Magic Unleash, then damage, and then Diamond Storm at the very end. 30 hit, 54 times multiplier ice hybrid damage. So Kurasame, he is a monster. He is a beast. He's insanely good. You don't need to pull for him, though. That's the bottom line. He's really good. But if you already have like a Hyoh and stuff, and or whatever damage dealer you're using right now is good enough for you, then you don't need a better damage dealer. If you're already killing stuff, you don't need to kill things twice as fast. Right? If you're already beating everyone, just hold on to your currency. If you're looking for a good damage dealer, though, that 11k step up's there. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you can do some daily pulls and stuff like that. Maybe you'll end up with 2 Kurasame. So if you're looking for a damage dealer and you need one, Kurasame is your boy. He's there. He's here. He's now. If you don't want to save for anyone in the future, it's fantastic. You know, 7-star Fravian stuff's around the corner. So if you're looking for a damage dealer and you want a damage dealer, go for it. If you already have a damage dealer, don't worry about it. Don't feel pressured into pulling for him. Because like I said, if you're already winning, you don't need to win more, okay? Who you racing? You're racing yourself? We speed run FFBE or something? So that's going to be my banner review. Kurasame is a monster. Hopefully I'll get a second one. I don't think so, though. I'm not thinking that I'll get a second one. I already got one in a ticket, so there's no way I'm getting a second one, right? Right, Gooby? So if you guys want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and hit the sub button. Catch my future content. Check us out tonight on stream. Be a little bit of a shorter stream because I got a lot to do for the weekend. But thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.